There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hi, this is Rob.
And this is Becky from Dystopica, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome vocalist Becky and guitarist Rob of Dystopica. Dystopica have released their singles "You Can't Look Away This Time" and "The Seasons" off their debut EP entitled "Perception," which was released November 19th of 2021. So they're still banging this out, everybody. So Becky, Rob, how you guys doing?
Great. Thank you for
Thanks for having us.
Not a problem whatsoever. So Becky, I'm going to put you on the hot seat right off the bat here. You formed the band in 2019. How did the remaining pieces of this band come together? Where did you find these guys at?
So I met Erich in 2019 at a previous recording studio, and I met Rob later in 2020 in college.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Becky just said, and that's pretty much it right there. I was going for a teaching certification, and Becky was one of the students there, and she approached me and asked, since she found out that I play guitar and I'm also a metal guy, she said, "Do you want to play for us?" And I said, "Sure." So.
How excited are you to have singles "You Can't Look Away This Time" and "The Seasons" off the debut EP Perception out right now? I know there's 6 tracks on this, if I'm not mistaken. Are there going to be any more, or what are you guys going to look forward to on this one?
So for this EP, it's already out. It's been out since November 19th, and we are so happy with the response we've been getting on it. I love all the great feedback. And I'm really happy with the way it's doing. I love the way it sounds. And yeah, we actually recorded a whole nother second EP. So that will be out in the fall of 2022.
I was going to say pretty much the same thing. It's that EP's been out for a little while now, so hopefully we've gotten some pretty good traction with it. And at least the response seems to be going pretty well so far, from at least from what I can tell. Everyone seems to have a favorite track, at least, and but there's always one that everyone says is their top favorite. So perhaps you want to take a guess?
Me?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, there's 6 different tracks on here. I don't know which one would be the one.
Yeah, it seems that a lot of people love The Seasons. That's like their top, but everyone else, they have people have different favorites too. So it's nice to see that.
Definitely.
I know, like you said, this has been released since 2021. But did the pandemic set the band back on releasing music as far as like playing live and? How did this allow the band to hone in on the creativity on this EP with having this downtime in a way?
It allowed us to really work on recording all these songs and, getting them right. And because we worked with another recording studio previously and we recorded some of them, but we ended up re-recording them and recording more to have the whole 6, and they all sound great. And yeah, we really focused on the recording end of it because we didn't have the chance to play live with the pandemic. So.
Yeah, and especially like everybody wants to put out an album, let's do a full-length EP, but when they start doing that, then that's when they see what goes on behind the scenes of all the hard work that actually comes together besides just writing it and put the song together. Then this is when everything comes together for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of that's more or less what happened during the pandemic. You know, we really couldn't do anything pretty much. It was all spent pretty much recording, getting everything, getting all the songs together, you know, finding the right people to record with, finding the right places to get the music out there. You know, it was a whole process. And I will say though, which and I'm sure Becky can agree with me, it was 100% worth it. Because in a field like this one, there's no reason that you really shouldn't be rushing anything. You know, it's that expression, you can't rush art.
That's for sure. And I don't mean to knock anybody whatsoever, but you can tell when an album or an EP is rushed. You know, when the fan gets in their hands, they're like, oh man, it sounds like 3 or 4 songs, the same ones. It's just like it was phoned in. You know, it's like there was no time spent on this. You can tell.
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard that with even some of the, you know, but there's kind of a little, I guess, a silver lining in that case. You know, once a band may have found their sound, and you know that the fans they're looking for something that they expect.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's true for Slayer. I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone once I think the first 3 records are out, or even the first 2, I don't think anyone wanted them to change anything. I don't think they wanted to change the fans wanted them to change their sound at all. Although when they did, I would say though that I was surprised in some cases. For example, when God Hates Us All came out, I think initially the response wasn't all that great, but I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was still a heavy record, even if it didn't sound like Seasons in the Abyss or South of Heaven or Rain and Blood.
Yeah, and here Kerry King still wanting to take, you know, Slayer out. He wants to come out of retirement. I'm like, dude, come on. It's, you know, if Tom Aurora says it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
Tom's done, it's over. So why go the EP route instead of just like, if you had all this time, all these songs, just put out an actual album, or did you just want to get something out there to get feedback on, see what direction you guys wanted to go?
Well, we wanted to just get something out there. Also, we didn't want to put a lot of songs on the first release, because I feel like if we do a full-length album without doing an EP first, I feel like we're just dropping it, and then, you know, all these songs, like, because sometimes people don't go through and listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of split it. We did record more songs. That's why we have the second one sitting and waiting. So we will do another EP. So this way, instead of putting them all together, you know, there's 2 EPs out of this.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much the same here. It's I think when you put an album out and it's got like 13 tracks on it, you know, now, I mean, back in the day, I would have been, you know, as a listener myself, you know, I would have been okay with 13 tracks, you know, because, you know, I wasn't that much of a heavy consumer of music. You know, I'd usually get one record and then I'd spin that thing God knows how many times. But I'd keep spinning it for at least, I don't know, a year and change, maybe even more, especially if the album was not a recent one. If it was an older one, you know, I'd probably be spinning that for years, even, plural. So I think that in today's market, where everything is a little more, everything is kind of getting smaller, you know, lots of people kind of have more of an attention span for maybe 5 or 6 songs on a whole record rather than 13. You know, it gives another opportunity also for them to look forward to the next record. So I think it's great to, you know, have that first record out, and then when the second one comes out, they're like, oh, great, more new stuff. Any
tracks? I know you said you guys had a lot of songs that's going to be on another EP, but were there any tracks that didn't make this EP though that was already written prior to all this? I mean, did you say, like, okay, this is going to be the first one for this EP, let's just save these for the next one? What led these songs specifically to be the first ones on this EP?
So about like re-recording them. So some of them we already had out prior, so we wanted to make sure all of those were out in, you know, re-recorded in their form that they are in now. So we had that, and we had 2 that we recorded and wanted to put with this EP. So that made up the 6. However, we did record one while we were recording this EP that was not on this EP that will be on the next one.
Sweet.
And
Yeah, I was gonna say the same here pretty much. It's just that so when the way that songs are written for this band is that Becky writes pretty much all the music, everything is written by Becky on a in a kind of like sheet music.
Yep.
And it comes for me, it comes in tab.
Yeah.
So but it comes in both. It comes in sheet music and tab, both of them. And what ends up happening is that we learn the songs at home, and then when we go to record, what ends up happening, depending on how it goes, Nick, sometimes our producer, he'll give us a lot of suggestions with what to do with the direction of the song, maybe add a few more riffs, maybe delete an entire riff and replace it with a completely different one, And I will say though, I mean, that kind of process I thought has been really to our advantage. I felt like a lot of our best material came out because of Nick's input, and how he's kind of directing our sound when we record.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the EP? I know these are your babies, Becky, that you've written and everything, but you guys have any tracks that stand out for each of you possibly?
For me, it's The Seasons, I'd say, is probably my favorite, and Lost Within Myself is a close second.
For me, I'm gonna go with You Can't Look Away this time, mainly because from a playing standpoint, it's definitely one that I could play that song all day long. I could play it over and over and over again, just as a guitar player, because it's just that particular riff is just fun to play. It's got that kind of that Gothenburg, Sweden death metal sound, kind of like In Flames or Dark Tranquility, that kind of thing. So, and that's one of the many styles I'm into, and it's definitely one of the more fun styles, fun genres to play when you're a musician. At least I think, for me. So that's going to be my top favorite.
Was there a track that you were working on that totally ended up sounding different than it was intended to for this EP? Was there one that just kept, you had to go and change this, go back and change that? Was there any that changed a lot, maybe?
One, yeah, there's actually 2. So what Rob was saying about Nick's input with the songs, there's 2 that got changed a lot, and those 2 are Broken and Trapped.
Yeah, Broken had the most alterations, honestly. Broken had the opening riff is completely different to what was written. Completely different. Entirely.
It also had an intro that we got rid of.
Yeah, there were a bunch of alterations to that song that turned it into an almost completely different song. So, almost. I mean, there are a couple of riffs that were kept, but there was one that was added that was totally changed. And then for Trapped,
the riff in the verses was changed. I had some strange stuff going on with that one, and we kind of made it more like that Iron Maiden chugging kind of riff.
Yeah, we just basically, the notes were more or less the same. It's just the background rhythm was changed a little bit. So it was so that one wasn't changed as much as Broken was. Broken had I would say the biggest overhaul compared to the other songs.
All right, Becky, when writing your lyrics, when do you say, okay, let's not go a certain way, or can you, or do you just let the lyrics write themselves?
I just, when I think of the songs, before I write all the music first, but most of the time I'll already have a meaning for the song while I'm writing the music. Or sometimes I'll write the music and I'll think of lyrics while I'm writing the music. That's usually what happens. So I basically just let them write themselves and just fill in the spots that I'm missing while I just think about something, or go through an old poem I wrote and just pull some lines and edit them.
Do you find yourself discovering old music from old journals or notebooks that you had in high school, maybe, or anything like that you go back and say? It amazes me that I even know national bands that goes back and gets stuff from their high school notebooks that they wrote poems and stuff out, just like you're talking about. And I'm going, really? I mean, that's like, and they're like 25, 30 years out of high school. And I'm going,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah, that I do look at, because in high school I wasn't really writing music a lot, but I did write poems. So I'll go back and I'll look at the poems, and if some line works, I'll just, edit it and just take it.
Oh my god! I was gonna say that you just reminded me of something. So I've been in quite a few other bands prior to Dystopica, and one of the other bands I was in was a horror punk band who used to go by the name of Crip Stripper. They're now called Widows, and our drummer is the original singer he was in a band called The Rejects, which eventually became the Murder Dolls. So he used to tell me, I was like, because I had to come up with like a stage name for this group. So he was like, oh, Joey Jordison. He's like, Joey had this book back when we were kids, or back when we were, when we were doing this, putting our band together, and we had a whole book full of names. I don't know where it is, but we got to find it or whatever. And well, so I mean, we never never found it, even if it was. I mean, we'd never actually come across it. So we ended up coming up with one ourselves. But I still thought it was really cool that the two of them still had this, this kind of thing that going on, and it was like, it's one of those things it's always great if you're in a band, if you have any of your old riffs, even if they're not like great, it's just good to have them around, because then you get to see kind of how you improve from when you started versus where you are now.
Actually, speaking of that, I do have some riffs that I thought of in high school that I didn't really do much with, but those will be saved for future music. So you'll be seeing some of those.
All right, Rob, was his name possibly Ron McMurray or Ron Murray? What's his name?
Yes, he was. Yeah,
I know him. He's been on the
Dizzy.
podcast. Yep. I know him well. I know him pretty well. He's on the podcast many years ago, and plus I follow him and his wife with that new band they've got going on. And
yeah, that's them.
Yep. Joey Dorson was on the podcast too, so that was a shock to me when I saw the post that he'd passed away, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, yeah, me too. I heard that. Yeah, Dizzy's been. Did you hear about what they did in New Jersey with Wednesday 13?
Mm-mm.
Oh, they went up and played. I forgot what song it was, but it was Dizzy and Dizzy and Dolly and then the rest of the, I think the rest of the band, they played a Murder Dolls song together.
I tell you what, man, they did a killer cover. And I'm sorry, I'm not taking away from the interview. We're gonna get back to the interview questions, but they did a killer cover of Billy Idol's "White Wedding." I was like,
they did.
That is badass. That's badass. All right, so this EP was mixed, mastered, produced by Nick Belmore. Did he get something out of you guys that maybe somebody else might not have gotten working with him on this?
Yeah, he really gets the sound that we're looking for and really helped us achieve it.
It was interesting, kind of that I'd never known Nick on a particularly personal level, or even on a business level. I kind of knew him as this guy that I had actually seen. Let's see, the first time I ran into him was when he was a wee lad when I first met him. It was in 2008, and he came to my college town, and with Kingdom of Sorrow, he was doing drums for them at the time. So I met him. That was when I first met him. Then the second time I met him was Heavy MTL in 2013, I think. And then I met him again the following year when he was drumming for Toxic Holocaust. So this was, finally getting to work with him, I thought was pretty cool. Now I get to see. It's crazy how at first I kind of just knew that this guy plays drums. He's great. But one thing I didn't know is that I didn't know that he had the musical knowledge that he has. It's incredible. Like, he knows. I think it's amazing that he knows where to because one of the things about composition that I've noticed is, like, every composer basically has an influence or I guess a blueprint that they kind of take from, and then they bring it into whatever their work is. And in his case, he knew exactly what kind of styles of riffs to put in. He knew exactly what kind of style of playing there should be. It was like he knew exactly what to do. It was very impressive. So I think it's just super exciting.
I always like to give a shout out to the artist, and the artwork was done by Diego. I cannot pronounce his name, but I'm gonna take a shot at it. Diego Guitarist de Souza, is that right? Well,
Souza, yeah.
Souza. Okay, so he did the artwork. Working with him though, did he get exactly what you guys were wanting, or did you have to work a little bit to pull him the way you wanted it?
No, he got it exactly what I was looking for. I think it came out amazing. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I thought that was very well put together.
So this EP is already out. You're going to put out the other EP later on this year, possibly next year. I'm just going to throw that out there just in case for next year.
Oh yeah.
Are you wanting to wait till the second EP comes out, then go out on the road, or what's in the process with this?
So we're just gonna, over the summer, we are gonna practice, and we are gonna get a bassist and second guitarist to join us when we do live. We are gonna do live shows probably around the time of the release of the second one, probably before, depending on when it's released. I'm not 100% sure on the date, but I know that we will be doing shows in the fall, and we will be doing songs from both EPs. And we are gonna have 2 singles released before from the second one before it's out. So
okay,
that's pretty much the plan.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to these new singles, this EP when it comes out, all your music in general? What do you hope that they get from it, guys?
I just hope that they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Same. I hope they enjoy it. I hope they enjoy listening to it. I hope it's one of those records that gets a lot of playtime in their cars or on whatever device they listen to. So
what about like your music and your lyrics, especially Becky, being a voice for somebody who can't speak or need to say the things that they need to say, and your lyrics do? Because I know music's done it for me, and I'm sure it's done it for you guys as well.
Yes.
But for you having that opportunity now for somebody to feel what you're saying and speak for them, what's your thoughts on that?
I hope, that people do relate to it. And, because I know, like you said, for me, music, if I'm going through a hard time or something, there's songs that I will listen to, and it just helps, and I hope that my music can be that for somebody.
I would say for me, I'm one of the things I never really learned how to express this, other than kind of the simply, in the words of a Twisted Sister song, I want to rock, So for me, it's whenever I get a chance to record or whenever I get a chance to play, to me, it's always a good thing because one thing I've just always wanted to do is just play. That's really what I've wanted to do. So.
And I got to say this right now. It's cool. You hear Becky the way she talks, and then when you actually hear her sing, it's like, whoa, buddy. And I mean that in a good way, not in a bad way. It's a good way. It's like, she talks so soft, and then when she sings, it's like, watch out, man. She's got another side to her.
Yeah. And people, it's funny because if someone just beats me, I don't look like I'm a metal singer or I listen to heavy metal.
But that's good though. It's like good at the shock. It's like, oh God. So I'd always say, man, never judge a book by its cover. Never.
Exactly.
Yep.
Do you, and I'm going to ask this because I know you both have had a lot of music growing up that's affected you, and you still have it in your go-to every day. So do you still have a go-to album or maybe just a song that you find yourself gravitating back to that you cannot kick it out? You have to listen to it at least once a month, once a week, something, you come back to it.
Yeah, my favorite album of all time is Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that album's amazing. I mean, I just have to listen to it all the time.
Yeah, for me, it's the Boston self-titled record.
Oh,
Front to back, that album is magic. I mean, put it this way, it's the one record that, I don't know how it manages to do this, but it immediately puts a smile on my face. Always. And anytime it's on the radio, I'm like, turn it up. Just immediately turn it up. And I'm like, we're in Boston land now. Everybody just...
yeah, I'm a huge Metallica fan, diehard Metallica fan. And when I heard them come on a classic rock station, I just had to turn because I was like, my life's over. It's done.
I feel like that happened once too when, well, that was a big shock. I had no idea that this would ever happen, because usually I hear metal in this area, at least in my area of New York where I live, I usually hear it at night, but during the middle of the day, somebody played Rainbow in the Dark by Dio, and I was like, what? In the middle of the day? That's incredible. I'm going to listen to this station more often.
That's not sacrilege right there. You don't do that. All right, Rob and Becky, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy these 2 new singles that are out, buy this new EP that's out, upcoming stuff, everything and all. Dystopica, how can they do that?
They can find us on Facebook. They can find us on Instagram. They can find us on Bandcamp, where we have our digital copy of the EP Perception, as well as physical copies and t-shirts. They can find us on YouTube, Spotify, all that, Apple Music, iTunes.
And before I let you both go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Sure.
Sure.
Hi, this is Rob.
And this is Becky from Dystopica, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and get off your asses and subscribe to my YouTube link, because it's got a lot of good stuff on there. Remember, that's BODS Mayhem Hour on YouTube. Just subscribe and follow. I'll eat a bologna sandwich with you if you want me to. I don't care. Also, too, get out and check out Dystopica. Check out their new singles that they have out right now. You Can't Look Away this time, and The Seasons. Perception is out right now. Grab that EP plus this new EP that's coming out. Give these guys and gals a chance. You will not be disappointed. There will be one song on there that you will dig and like. I guarantee it. So, Rob and Becky, thank you all so much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much for having us. It was a great time.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.